2 or 3 weeks, I've been saying, I know it sounds crazy, but put Santi on the 9. And I heard, blah, 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 blah. You can't put Santi on the 9.
There's only one storyline, and it's the biggest storyline. Sean Johnson left us for Drake. I need us to score 6 goals on it. So we were on the New York Post, guys. It was fun. It was exciting. We were nervous as heck, bro.
Nervous as heck. But
I'm not even listening to it. I'm too scared.
I'm too scared too. I haven't heard it yet.
We probably
either.
sound like idiots. What is going on? Episode 9, Season 2. What is up, yo?
What is up? Good vibes.
Big week for the boys.
Big week for the boys. The City boys, NYCFC boys, all the boys.
It's a great time. And you were right. You've been calling this for a while.
2 or 3 weeks, I've been saying, I know it sounds crazy. But put Santi on the 9. And I heard, blah, 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 blah. You can't put Santi on the 9. You can't put Santi on the 9. We put Santi on the 9.
And he was dominant.
Man of the match.
He brought it, bro. It was a great idea. Ledesma is playing the 10 perfectly. It's all flowing now. It's feeling good.
It's feeling so good. And when we're on a 3-game not losing streak, 2-game winning streak, 7 points in 3 days on the home stretch.
That's beautiful.
It's feeling nice, man.
But before we get into this game, we had a little thing happen to us.
We had a little thing. We woke up this morning. We're recording on a Monday. Hopefully you guys listening to this on Tuesday. Wake up on the morning and my man reaches out from the Post saying, come be on the show.
Yes. So we were on the New York Post, guys. It was fun. It was exciting. We had no time to prep for our real show because we did all the prep for the New York Post. But it's dope. If you guys haven't seen it yet, please go on to our Twitter, retweet us, like it. Let's keep growing the content, because if we show, like, look, whenever we post whenever the Post posts NYCFC stuff, it starts building traction. They will keep covering the team. So please, let's keep it going.
Exactly. And we were talking to Brandon about, maybe having some other content surrounding NYCFC to really help build the brand of NYCFC, man. The more people that are into soccer, the more it's good for us, the more it's good for, the stadium coming up. It's better, louder stadium. It's going to be big stuff, man.
Overall, great vibes. Let's keep it going. But yes, we had no time to prep for this show, so we're going to have nothing for you this show.
Although I like to say that interview was only 4 minutes long, so it's a little bit of an excuse.
It doesn't matter, all right? We focused on that. Yeah, we were nervous as heck, bro.
But
I'm not even listening to it. I'm too scared.
I'm too scared too. I haven't heard it yet.
We probably sound like idiots.
We probably do. That's why I'm like, nah. Let's just live off the hype that we were on it, not how we sounded.
Yes. If somebody listens to it, please tell us if we sound like idiots or not. But let's get into this game.
Can we talk about the vibes before the game?
Yeah, let's talk about them. Go for it. I wasn't there, but Danny was. Talk about it.
It was good vibes. I showed up a little late, and Felix didn't save me one piece of penny. He just liked to tell me how good it was, and then I missed out. So next time, if you could save me a piece, homie.
He's waiting for that penny. Yo, he came back to my house after to watch the fight. Bro was like, yo, there was no penny, bro. He was mad sad. So please get this guy a piece of penny next game.
But talking about that, bro, it's like we're back at Citi Field. The magic was fire. And this time, the third row was right next to Los Templados, because last time the Los Templados were near the Apple, because, they had to go do their thing with the drums and everybody make a big show there. So seeing everyone on that strip was just so cool, man. And they had the MLS 2021 champs up there.
How was the march?
The march was so cool. And also, not only that, but I went into the stadium early to pick up my credentials, kind of get set up. And so I was in the stadium, and because there's this glass lounge that we have to get to the press box, I noticed the march was starting, and I was able to get like an eagle view view
Of the march.
of the march. It was so fire. And not only that, but they're talking about I'm inside the stadium behind glass. I could still hear Felix.
Yeah,
Right, and I hear everybody in the drums. It was fire.
Yo, Felix is on like every clip. Like, if you don't know who Felix is, he's the Third Rail Bronx chapter president, and he's in like in every hype video, bro. You just see him like this, like, it's the best, bro.
No, it's awesome. And got to see some people before the game that I'm blanking out. I saw Coach Joe. Much nicer than his Twitter account, but he's a cool guy. Yeah, just the vibes were just awesome, man. Every time I'm back at Citi Field, I don't want a game at Yankee Stadium, man. I'm just like, I'm living off the hype of Queens.
Yeah.
And then, I listened to the Forever podcast last week, and they were talking about all the spots you got to check out on Roosevelt Avenue. And you weren't there, so I didn't want to be solo dolo. So I just came to your house afterwards because I'm an antisocial guy. But we got to go check out those spots. They gave us the Chicharron spot.
I'm down.
And then
wait, so is it right up the block from the stadium?
I think it's a few blocks. They drive. We drive though, so we can make it work. But no, I think you gotta you can't walk there.
That's the problem though. I don't want to walk. I just want to have my drink and walk to the stadium.
All right. So what we gotta do is, Felix, you gotta make some chicharron and you gotta bring it after the game. Save that for us.
That's good. Okay.
All right. So let's get into the game.
Yeah, let's get into it. You were there. Give us the storylines. Give us how it all played out. Because so you've been calling this the Santi at number 9 for weeks now. When you saw the lineup initially, were you hyped?
I was so hyped. Also because I didn't know where they were gonna put Santi, right? So you see Santi, you see Ledesma.
You see Magno.
You try to figure out, you go, oh man, is GP going to be in the lineup? Like, you're trying to find it, see where everyone's going to get formed. And then Apple put up the visual and you saw it in the stadium.
Yeah.
With Santi in the 9. Oh, I got so excited. And it's a big risk, honestly, from Nick Cushion, right? You take a guy who's only played the 9 at the end of the game, and then you go on and you put him there, hoping that magic happens. That little bit of Citi Field magic, you sprinkle it in there too. And we got some magic, man. I felt like him and Ledesma played well together. I think I don't want to bring in criticism, but we got to bring criticism, right? That's what we do too, is that, and I actually, who brought this up to me? Trey from Blue Balls was saying, when we press, we're in a 4-4-2. And then when we're on offense, someone kind of takes lead. So we end up being a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So offense 4-2-3-1. Defense 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And so we got Ledesma and we got Santi pressing, which is a good squad to press.
Yeah.
Because they're both fast. They're the fastest players we got. But you notice that there were some times where Ledesma was looking for Santi to see who he was pressing instead of capturing him in. And then he was kind of solo dolo. And there were times where Ledesma was looking to who to press and where to press, and he was just kind of on the field by himself. So on defense, you could tell he struggled a little bit, but that's the chemistry thing. Him and Santi haven't been on the pitch together
at all.
Yeah, until then, and that's something that could get cleaned up through practice. But on offense, they were just so fluid, getting the ball to each other, getting it to Magno, getting it to GP, and it was just a deadly front lineup, man.
Yeah, and after the game, Nick Cushion even said, like, hey, like, it's hard to take any of these guys off the lineup. You know what I mean? These guys our forwards are so talented. When you have Perea, Magno, you have Santi, and now you have Ledesma. That's why I think it was a tough decision for him to not start Seagull, but it was the right one. And I think it's something that when you have these many talented players, it's hard to say, okay, Seagull's a true number 9, so he has to start. When you have Santi and you have Ledesma and you have all these great talented young players, that they need to see the field. And if you have, I think it just goes to show, if you have these young guys and you have all this talent, just bring it, just let it out there, and it's gonna have some offensive explosions, right?
And I actually asked Cushion afterwards, like, is our number 9 problem solved? And the response is, not Cushing. Seagull should be mad at himself. Like, he lost that position. He didn't like do what he needed to do when he had the opportunity, and he's got to fight to get the opportunity back. And I noticed that pieces with Seagull coming in, with Ledesma coming in, with Genic, with Pellegrini, all these dudes want to be on the pitch. So I feel like we're seeing a level of like competition where even after Santi scored that goal, those 2 goals, I felt like I saw Magno's eyes like, bro, I gotta play a part in this game. GP got a goal that was offsides, but you could just tell Magno was like, I got to be part of this. Like, I got to keep my job. Everyone looks like they're trying. They're putting 100%, which wasn't like that in the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah.
Without Santi, without Ledesma, without Sands, like you didn't see people fighting, and now you see people like working as hard as they can. And Cushing brought that up. Like, I can see it. People are hungry now because they see these young guys coming in, and so he said he wasn't going to start them every week at the 9, but Cushing loves to lie in press conferences, so I think we're going to see a lot more of that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so you're not gonna put Santi at the 9. So who we still haven't solved this issue. If you're not gonna have Santi at the 9, then that means you're gonna take out Ledesma. We also don't want Ledesma not to start, right?
Exactly.
But I guess, and you've had this discussion on Twitter with Coach Joe. Do we need more depth at the 10 then? Because is it better that we have balance where Santi is coming in off the while Ledesma's coming in off the bench after Santi's tired, or let's say one of them gets injured? So should we still have 2 10s just to be careful, and then midway through the game we can have a sub that puts in another 10?
Well, okay, although I'm super hyped about the hype train of Santi playing 9 and us winning, Santi is not a 9. So I think Santi can hold us down until the summer window, unless somebody gets signed today. But, it's 4/24 on a Friday, on the last day of the deadline, and we haven't got a signing, right? So I think Santi holds us down to the summer, and then we sign someone in the summer. So then you get depth back in the summer, right?
Yeah.
We know Ledesma hasn't exactly stayed injury-free at his time at PSV.
Yeah.
So then we get some depth there. And I mentioned it on Twitter too. If people are really tired, if for some reason these two 22-year-olds can't play the full 90 minutes, we got Kean Parks. Yeah, he's not like the best person at the 10, but he does a decent job. He played a 10 at the end of this game. He's played a 10 in the past. And when we didn't have Santi, we said, fine, we'll take Keaton over anybody right now because everyone else was trash.
Yeah.
So I think, we have some depth there, especially until the summer. Hopefully we get a striker, and then we have even more.
You touched on the Gabriel Pereira offsides. Do we know what happened there?
They said that it was offsides when he first retained the ball. So he retained it, drove, kicked it. They said, but honestly, I saw the replay even after I got home. It looked real close for that to be
I think I was listening to the commentator, and they were just as confused as well. They could not make sense of what just happened.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more mad if we weren't.
We didn't win 3-1. Right? And we got a little lucky because Jesus Ferreira came in as a sub later in the game, but he didn't start. Unlike James, because he was in the U.S. men's national team on Wednesday playing against Mexico. But James Sands had the same thing, and he still started and played the full 90 minutes.
We asked Cushing, or I didn't ask Cushing, but someone in the press asked Cushing, what was your decision to play Sands? And he said it wasn't my decision. It was Sands' decision. He was like, Sands wanted to play. And even throughout the game, I kind of gave him the look like, you want to come out? And he said Sands gave him the look like, you better not take me out of this game, bro. He's a monster. He's a beast. He's hungry.
I do want to mention something. James Sands, you know how they do like sometimes the behind the scenes? James Sands being the Capitan is a little weird. It's not that it's weird. I mean, he's saying all the right things. He's just a little like, he's like low. He has a, how do you say? Not a high pitched voice. He's a little monotone.
Yeah.
So if I want to get hyped, I don't know if James Sands is going to get me hyped in the locker room. Like Chanel has a presence that when he says something, he gets me hyped.
Yeah.
I think James Sands, keep him as a captain on the field, but let Chanel make the pregame hype video because Sands is a little stiff with it.
You know what's so cool about Sands though? Sands, like you said, he kind of also in his post-game interviews, he's got like such a soft voice and he's such a nice guy, but he's a monster. He's got like a Jekyll and Hyde.
Dude, and on the field, like he's mean, bro. He just like pushes people. He doesn't care. He gets down and dirty. You gotta love James Sands.
You gotta love him, bro. I heard James Sands out there. They go, how are you controlling your anger? He goes, I'm always angry. And he goes out there.
You're a fool. That did not happen.
That was a Marvel reference.
I know, but some people didn't know that.
Everyone knew that, bro.
Sure, bud.
Well, I gotta go and ruin the joke by explaining it.
What else in that game?
All right, so Santi scored. So GP's goal gets called offsides, but what a banger, anyways.
Oh, dude, banger to the left, but it's always the left foot.
He has no other option. But you know what was so beautiful? Oh, what were you guys?
No, I think you were gonna say it. Go.
The Talus Magno one was great because it's been scouted, right? GP grabs the ball,
Goes to the
he
left.
goes to the left, he stands on that perfect corner,
Yeah,
and he
right
shoots
outside
from
the
there,
box,
right
yeah.
outside the box, and he shoots. So what he does, he goes back to that spot, fakes it,
Oh, it was
puts that dude on
beautiful.
skates, passes it to Magno for the goal.
It was beautiful.
I had goosebumps.
If he could do now he's dangerous with two moves, the fake and then that real one. So if he could just keep faking it out either way, we're set.
We're set. GP's such a monster, bro.
And now the team is 4-0, and we haven't lost at home. 4-1-0. We tied once against Atlanta, and we've won 4 games at home.
Nice.
We're just unstoppable at home. It's crazy how good we are at home. I think it's just like, I know we always talk about it, but it just shows, I don't know, the quality, the atmosphere, the players just thrive off of it. And what I like is these young guys really, really take a liking to the fans, and like you could tell the atmosphere, like they get excited to play at home. Like Jenick was like, yeah, these fans are great. Like he's just a happy 18-year-old kid playing in New York City. Like, can you even beat that? Like that is the best.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but if you think about it, in these other leagues, like you see a lot of the games, a lot of the stadiums aren't packed, man. There's a lot of farmers leagues out there. You're playing in the middle of, before Wrexham, had superstar owners, that pitch only holds like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Right. And then you come in here and when it's a small crowd, it's 18,000 people. Like that really,
exactly.
changes it. So
Paul Mullins or Santi Rodriguez at the number 9. Who you taking? That's not even a real question. You
Santi
shouldn't-
Rodriguez.
Yeah, you thought about it for a second though.
I would love to see that match. Wrexham versus NYCFC. Make it happen.
All-Star game.
That would be
the All-Star game in DC. We should host an All-Star game.
Nah, bro. If you call it an All-Star game and we lose, that would be embarrassing.
That would be the worst All-Star game.
That would be horrible.
Nobody wants to see that. But congrats to Wrexham for getting promoted.
Yeah, congrats. One day, Ryan Reynolds is gonna be famous.
Yo, what if Ryan Reynolds liked NYCFC? Like, imagine how much this brand could grow.
Yeah, we gotta get him to a game.
Yeah.
I have like an American team.
What else?
Um,
Anything else from this game? Notable, mentionable, important.
Santi gets those 2 goals. Both goals were bangers.
Okay, so let's say we go into the summer transfer window. We actually sign a striker. What do? Who starts Ledesma? Santi? Or
we got a long time to figure that out. I think it's too
I'm
early
just
for
saying.
This conversation. Oh, but something I wanted to say about your home field thing. I was talking to Trey about that too. How like MLS, because of the salary cap, has a lot of parity, and that's why home field advantage is like so important to this league, because it makes because of the parity that's in here versus other leagues. They don't have that same type of parity, and home field advantage doesn't hold so much weight.
Well, isn't it in other leagues as well? Like the away section is like quite massive. Like it's pretty big. Like they could be half the stadium kind of.
Okay.
So it's like it's not as much home field advantage because you have like a large away section that's coming to the game. You get me?
I understand. Yeah, because they're all like within the same country now.
Yeah.
Probably get a lot of
Yeah, exactly. Everything's so close. While here, like if you want to go to Seattle, like you gotta really dish out money and freaking take a long trip over there. It's kind of a nightmare.
That's true. But I do think parity does play a part. And you see that in other leagues in the United States, where when there's a lot of parity, home field holds points.
Give a definition of parity, because I just want to make sure.
Like all teams are like equally as good, right?
Gotcha.
You can't. Although who's on the bottom? Oh, Kansas City. I know that.
Only because
So Kansas City's at the end, at the bottom of the totem pole. But like typically, if they don't keep sucking this way, they can still compete with the top teams.
Gotcha.
Versus in other leagues, it might not be the same. So like if you have the equal amount of talent throughout the standings, then what differentiates you? And a lot of times it's home field. And you can see, I actually didn't look it up, but I should have before this.
What?
But how well MLS teams do
compared to when they're
away.
home?
Yeah, and it's on how big of a difference it is.
Well, that should get into our next conversation.
Yeah, we're on a road trip.
We're on a road trip, 4 games away. Granted, one of them is in New Jersey, so not so far.
And one's in Philly.
No, that's the 5th game.
Oh, okay. My bad.
But we play. Well, yeah. No, Philly we play at home.
Do we?
Yeah,
Oh,
double
okay.
check me on that.
Okay,
But
I will.
yeah, I think Philly we play at home.
Okay.
So next matchup, we're going against Toronto FC. And we all know the storyline here. There's only one storyline, and it's the biggest storyline. Sean Johnson left us for Drake. He left us. He saw Drake. Drake was like, well, why you don't come to Toronto? I mean, I don't care about the soccer team, but you should still come. And then he fell for him, bro. He told him he was gonna get a record deal.
So my question to you is, are you on the bandwagon as Sean Johnson, he did well for our team, we're happy he's gone? Or are you in the bandwagon as Sean Johnson's a snake?
A little bit of both. He's
Okay.
like, now that I look at Toronto FC, was it really worth it to leave us for a team that's trash? Like, let's be honest, they're not great this year. And you could say they have great players, but they still haven't been playing great. So why leave New York City where you're loved? Granted, I don't know how much more money he got. We should have probably looked into that before we talked about this. But it's just frustrating when you could have been with a winning, successful team that, even though a lot of our veterans left, we still have this really young, talented team that's the core of our team.
I mean, I think it's easy to say that now, but the beginning of this year, this was really looking like a rebuilding year. And it looked like this podcast was going to be sad a lot of the times. And so, yeah, I was a little sad when he left, but at the same time, he won us a cup. He did his job. He thought Toronto's got Lorenzo, got Federico, got Sean, got himself, and he's got Michael Bradley. Like, this team can go far, and we thought Toronto itself could just go, far into the league. And then they're 1-6-2. So he picked what he thought was better for him. It hasn't worked out. Maybe it'll still work out. We still have a lot of time, but I still have love for him. But this week, I really hope Barasa outshines him.
I don't even know. I don't even need Barraza to outshine him. I need us to score 6 goals on it and them all be his fault. Like a turnover straight to pull the St. Louis. Why was I going to say Cardinals? The St. Louis soccer team where they keep scoring off the goalie's mishaps. Let's have that happen to us 4 times in a row.
But who do you think has the advantage? I was thinking about this. Do we have the advantage on knowing Sean Johnson's
Good question.
what do you call
like
that?
tendencies?
Or does Sean Johnson have the up on us? Because look at our forwards: Talis Magno, Santi, GP. He knows all of them.
That's true. One thing I will say though, he doesn't know Ledesma.
He does it.
He doesn't know our backs, like Janik and Kufre, because they didn't play much.
That's true. He knows Cushing.
He knows Cushing. Cushing ain't scared of him, bro. You know what? Cushing would be crazy enough to be like, all the forwards change. None of you seen. Sean Johnson hasn't seen any of these players yet. Cushing changes lineups like there's no tomorrow.
He does. That man is the tinkerer.
Well, I mean, it's been working. I think I guess that's my question. Let's get into the lineups. Has he tinkered enough where you're like, this is the team that I want to see moving forward every game? Which is, I'll just off the top of my head, Sean Johnson. I mean, whoa.
you already got eliminated from the game. You lost.
Barraza, Kufre, Chanot, Thiago Martins, Janik, Keaton Parks,
Sands, Magno,
Santi, Ledesma, and GP.
GP.
Should that be our starting lineup from here on out?
100%. It's the most talented team that I think we can put on the pitch, and I think it's the right team to put on the pitch with that much talent. And then you still have some depth. You can play Pellegrini sometimes. He almost had a goal this game and wasn't called offsides. You got I'm blanking out who else we have.
Pellegrini. What do you mean? As backups?
Yeah.
We have a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pellegrini's the most talented I think we have.
Yeah.
I felt like there was someone else. But yeah, I think you got to. Oh, we got Siegel. That's what I was going to say.
So we got Siegel. We got Andre Jason.
Yeah. So I think you got to put that most talented lineup. Do you agree?
I think I just don't want us to jump the gun. We saw Santi the first time as a false 9, and we saw him play that striker role, and he looked good. But it's easy for us to jump the gun and say, "Oh, that's it. He's our most talented 9. We're good. Our lineup's done." I think we just got to make sure that you can always tinker, right? If you start realizing the next couple of games, like he's out of position at the 9, we don't feel comfortable, the ball's not moving the right way because of him. But right now, I think you got to keep going with it.
You got to. Until he says otherwise, we keep him at false 9, and then we see how things go. But that's got to be the way, I think, at this moment.
And do you think GP and Tallis will be able to step it up enough to be those deadly? If let's say he's playing a false 9 and you have the wingers coming over the top, are they deadly enough to score enough goals for us? Because we've seen Tallis with the ball in his feet. Sometimes he's not the best. He's a great dribbler, but when he shoots, he's not as dangerous. Is that going to be an issue?
He has space to maneuver. I think he just has to get a little bit at distributing the ball. But I think he's just so talented. He's got to get it together. And
Yeah.
I do think the seeing the rest of the team playing as well as they are is motivating him. I don't think he creates motivation. I think he needs motivation. And now he's looking more motivated. So yeah, we write him out on the left and we hope they could bring the firepower. And I don't even think it's a question for GP. Yeah, he's a little predictable, but if you can't stop it, then don't change it, man.
Yeah. One thing I will say, it's crazy because even though Santi hasn't been our 9, if you look at the amount of goals he has, 3, he leads the team. Well, he's tied with Magno. If you look at as many shots as he's taken, 17, same as Magno, which leads the team. So it's like he hasn't been our 9, but he's been aggressive as hell with the ball,
which has always been his thing.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I think if he wanted to, he could become a 9. The way Tati did. I truly believe that. I think he likes to be more aggressive and likes to finish. He kind of sucks at finishing, but he's getting there. And if he keeps practicing it, I think we have some opportunities there.
All right, let's get into these betting odds. Oh, hyped again. Oh,
I'm hyped.
Just broke my phone.
It's all right. So surprisingly, even though we're
on a hot streak, we're hot fire.
7 points in 3 games. We are not the favored this week. We're plus 190.
These sports guys, these bookies don't know what they're doing.
But also, we haven't won a game at home.
Away.
Away. Yes. So
yes.
Maybe these bookies do know what they're doing. So it's plus 190 for NYCFC, plus 2 for the tie, and plus 125 for Toronto.
What do you like the most out of this?
The vibes got to go with the NYCFC win. I just think Toronto has been so bad lately. And I think the record speaks for itself. And I saw Sean Johnson play in the USA game too. I think he's lost a step, man. And I love Sean Johnson. Even when he left, I respect him, but I don't think he's the same player as he has. And to my question earlier that I didn't answer, I do think we have the up knowing his tendencies. We know his weaknesses. We saw him every single game. Cushion's seen him every single game. So hopefully we'll know what to do and we'll be able to finish on him.
If I had to go with any of these betting lines, and we didn't say it, but over 2.5, it's going to be a scoring machine on Sean Johnson. I want 4 or 5 goals. I want him to feel like, damn, I messed up. I should have stayed in New York City. So let's go with the over 2.5. I don't even care what the odds are. Just lock it in, put that money in, and let's all make that.
All right.
But okay, let's get into it. What's your final prediction? What's your final score line?
I'm gonna go. I really want Barassa to get a clean sheet, man. And I'm still a little concerned about us scoring away. So I'm gonna go 1-0.
You're making me mad. That means Sean Johnson gets 4 saves or something? No, we score 4 on him.
You're ridiculous.
4-0. They're not getting Barassa has a statement. Barassa's going to come out here. You didn't even talk about Barassa last game, and you were on Twitter all over him.
Yes, Barassa is a stud. I swear to you, the people who keep hating on Barassa, you're crazy. He's a monster. I love him. I think he's going to be our starter for the entire season.
All right. Fair point. So I would go 4-0. The boys win. and Barasa gets a clean sheet.
It's about time he gets a clean sheet, but your 4s is ridiculous.
Guys, if you like the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Any final words, bro?
Shout out to the 90s podcast for calling us pretty last episode. I appreciated that. Shout out to our boy Brandon Landon for putting us on the post.
Yeah.
And shout out to Felix for not saving us Benny.
Shout out, y'all. Thank you again.
Peace.
Later, y'all. Peace.